everybody, welcome back to my weekly devlog series for Blink. And this week, of course, you saw the title. We're going to start off with a little bit of an announcement. I've been thinking about setting up a business for everything I'm doing in terms of game development and also the content that I'm producing on YouTube for a while now. And the big announcement is that I actually went ahead and just did that. I now have an LLC for encompassing all this work that I've been doing. There's a lot more steps going forward, but I do have the LLC established, so that's the big one. I wanted to tell you guys this because you may have noticed over the past few weeks, my content in each of the devlogs has been a little bit different. It's been a little bit slower. The first devlogs were making leaps and bounds in terms of the progress for Blink. But now that it's getting close to feature complete, we're just kind of making small tweaks, and I have been devoting a lot of my time towards, I guess you could call it administrative stuff for setting up the business. Now that I have the LLC established, I need to create a bank account or open a bank account, which I'm in the process of doing and is a little more involved than I thought it was going to be. Next up, I have to create Apple and Android developer accounts, a new AdSense account, all with the business. I have a lot of stuff to do going forward, but once it's all done, I can kind of forget about it and keep focusing on creating games and creating content. I thought it was exciting. I'm excited about it. I just wanted to share that with you guys, and yeah, time to jump into the devlog. Alright, so here's our Trello board for the week. Most of the development work I'm going to focus on is improving the experience around ads, because you guys gave me some great feedback after last week's devlog. But that's going to be a little later in the week. I need to focus right now on preparing some of the final documentation for this bank account that we were just talking about. I need to research these documents, create them, and do it right, and submit these to the bank so that they have some time to process while I work on other things. This is not totally exciting. I'm not going to have any footage for you guys while I do this, but it is part of the grind, so I wanted to be transparent and let you know what I'm working on. So I'm going to spend tonight working on all that boring stuff, and the next time you see me, I should be ready to hop into some development. Catch up soon. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday just after 6 a.m. and this morning I want to work on tweaking the ad experience for the user. What I mean by that is two main changes. One, the longer you play in one session, the less often you'll see ads kind of as a reward. And two, if you're just starting out with Blink and your score is pretty low each round, we're not going to show you an ad as soon, just so that you're not struggling to learn the game mechanics and then you're presented with an ad. That's not a good experience. That said, once I knock those out, I'm getting a pretty strong coffee and video games vibe this morning, so hopefully this won't take me too long and I can have some time to relax before work. I'll catch up when I have these knocked out. Alright, so I've made two pretty simple changes here that I think will have a good effect on the user's experience with ads and Blink. Right now we're in my play again function, which is called when you tap the play again button. And I was previously increasing my rounds played in session every time you click the play again button. These are the rounds that are counted up before you see an ad. But now I'm only doing that if the score that you just got passes a certain threshold. Right now that threshold is 10 points. But I'm going to tweak that over time. I think this will just make it so that if you're a new player and your score is not very high, you're not going to be seeing ads quite as often. If we click into player interstitial advertisement if eligible, or play interstitial advertisement, this is where we check to see if we are enabling interstitial ads, and if the rounds that we've counted up are greater than the threshold of the rounds we want to see before the ad, we play the ad, right? I also made a change to increment the rounds before ad threshold, so the longer you play, the longer you'll go between ads, up to a maximum. So I chose a maximum of 7, so that if the user left the phone or left the app in the background of their phone rather than killing it, they wouldn't just build up this huge value over time and essentially never see ads. I think this is a healthy compromise, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good user experience once I get this out on devices and have people testing it more often. I'm pretty content with that nice burst of early morning productivity, so I think I'm going to call it there. Hopefully I have some good news from my bank today that I can share with you guys this evening. I'll catch up soon. So I got a cool suggestion from Connor a couple weeks ago. He thought that players who maybe didn't have as strong mobile devices should have the option to disable the fancy lighting effects on the fireflies and maybe even the rain. I think this is a good idea, and paired with my need to have an in-app purchase to remove ads, I think now I've got the obvious need for kind of an options panel. So I'm going to get started on creating that UI this morning. I don't think I'm going to hook it up to anything yet, but hoping I can get the UI knocked out. Alright, so we managed to get the options canvas set up without too much hassle. As you can see, we now have a new selection here on the start screen. If we tap option, it takes us to this new canvas. We have a toggle for lighting effects, either on or off. This has not been implemented or hooked up to anything yet, so that'll be the next task. I've also got an option to remove ads where it shows the price here. I think that will probably be okay. And then a button to restore purchase, which I know I'll have to take into account based on my previous implementation of an in-app purchase. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I probably will make some changes to how this is laid out, but I've got everything on the screen where I need it now, so it'll be good moving forward. I think that'll do it for this morning. We laid the groundwork for this weekend when we can hopefully go in and implement those in-app purchases. I do need to get into work a little bit early today, so I think I'm just going to enjoy some coffee and then go get ready. So I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It's Saturday around 8 a.m. Hoping for a pretty productive day of development today, but of course I'm going to be going climbing in about an hour. In the meantime, I'm going to drink some coffee and try to hook up the optional lighting effects to the options menu that we were working on earlier this week. Alright, got the lighting effects hooked up, so I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. You'll notice that I added the lighting effects back to the background fireflies, so they now kind of have a glow using a point light when they appear on the screen. Of course, when you play normally, the player is going to emit that point light as well when you're filling up his circle. So I think that looks cool. But if we go back to the main screen and head to the options menu, we have the ability to toggle that off, which will take effect immediately. So these little guys in the background will not have lights emitting anymore, and when you go to play the game normally, the player will also not have a light. I'm hoping this will be a better experience for people who have older phones that might not agree so much with Unity's lighting effects. But for those of you with newer phones, I think these are cool effects to experience, so I'm happy to give you the opportunity to check those out. My last big task this week is of course the in-app purchase, but I'm probably not going to worry about that until after I go climbing. Well, we might also scope this in as well. We'll see. Alrighty guys, we had a good climb today and now I'm back home and I'm going to get started on the in-app purchases implementation. The first thing I'm going to do is code up the flag that gets switched when you actually make the in-app purchase that turns off all the advertisements. So let's get started on that. Alright, so I've made all the necessary changes to the gameplay code to support in-app purchase and the removal of advertisements. So this is at the core of everything. This is just a public boolean that interacts with player preferences to store whether or not you've made the purchase. Everything else in the game revolving around ads looks at this value to determine what to do. I'll go ahead and give you guys the demo over here. So if we fire up the game and go to the options screen, we have the option to remove the ads. This means obviously we haven't purchased it yet. So in this case, as you're playing, every 5 or so rounds you'll see an interstitial video advertisement. And if you get to the end of the round and click continue, you'll be prompted to watch an ad in order to continue. All pretty standard, just how it was before. Now if we head back to that options menu and we click this, of course right now I'm just simulating completing the purchase. That text will change to thanks for your purchase and you won't have anything to click there anymore. And when we start the game, you'll be able to play round after round and never see a video advertisement, which is obviously the intended effect. But also on the continue button here, we're no longer asked to see an advertisement. It says, thanks for supporting Blink. You can continue your round without any advertisements. So you hit sure, and the game just immediately goes forward. So once you've made the purchase, there's never a chance you'll see any ad in Blink again, which I think is the best implementation. So in order to actually move forward making the in-app purchase, what I have to do is create an Apple developer account, a Google developer account, and create the in-app purchases in those dev portals, get the IDs, and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I can't create those accounts until I have a business bank account to pay for all that. But I have good news. My account application was accepted and I actually do have that bank account now and it's been funded. I'm just waiting on the credit card. So once I have the credit card, I can set all that stuff up and we can move forward and complete the in-app purchase and basically make Blink feature complete at that point and start getting serious about putting it on the store. I'm excited about that. So I know this week's devlog didn't have a bunch of flashy gameplay updates or anything, and I'm sorry about that, but we still made just enormous progress towards not only releasing Blink, but setting myself up to release everything else that I want to share with the world in the future. I really want these devlogs not just to be about the current game I'm creating, but the journey of trying to become an indie game developer and hopefully inspire other people to do the same if that's what they're passionate about. So thanks for joining me this week. If you like what I'm doing, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. There's definitely going to be more content like this to come. I'm super grateful for all the support you guys have given me so far on this journey, and I really can't wait to see what the future holds. I'll see you in the next video.